Imagine one day everything goes wrong. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Your iced coffee tastes like disappointment. And then you use the bathroom after your brother. Forget to wipe the seat, and now your bum is sitting in his leftovers. Yeah, we're starting off the day with trauma. Then, all of a sudden, you become blinded with rage and impulsively start attacking everyone in your house. This anger that has taken over your mind has blocked all forms of rational thinking, and instead of just taking a deep breath and showering to wash off the pee, your sole mission is now to violently attack everyone you see and spread your infectious rage to those you attack. This is what the fictional virus in 28 Days Later does. It amplifies an individual's underlying rage to 1,000,000 and causes them to remain in a permanent state of pure rage, where they savagely attack non-infected people. This virus is known as the rage virus. It's based on one of the scariest viruses on planet Earth, the Ebola virus. Now, this virus has nothing on corona, bro. At least with COVID, if you catch it and your symptoms are not severe, you probably will be fine. And even if they are severe, you should go to the nearest hospital immediately. But with Ebola, it also starts with flu-like symptoms, like COVID. As the virus progresses, symptoms can include diarrhea, which may be bloody, bruising or bleeding, and vomiting that may also be bloody or look like coffee grounds. There are even more symptoms beyond that. In the later stages, which are severe, Ebola can cause brain inflammation, organ failure, and seizures. Ebola is truly a frightening disease that I wouldn't wish on anyone, not even my worst enemy. Man, I tell you, Ebola is like flu on some serious steroids. That shit looks insane. Now, Ebola does not trigger psychosis, aggression, or violent rage. However, its physical symptoms like bloodshot eyes, rashes, and vomiting were used in the creation of the rage virus. The rage virus is a psychological virus that Danny Boyle and Garland used to critique societal issues such as cultures of anger and violence, and how little is being done to address them. For me, the film really shows how violence begets violence, and that you can't solve problems through anger and aggression. Instead, things should be handled in a calm and orderly way. So which douchebag decided to unleash this virus in 28 Days Later? The film begins with violent imagery of riots and people running through the streets, displayed on a bunch of box televisions. Man, I haven't seen one of those since 2010. Anyway, we then see that this is happening in the Cambridge Primate Research Center, where they are experimenting on monkeys in an attempt to cure anger and depression. How do you try to cure a mental illness by forcing chimps to watch people being killed in the streets or police spraying tear gas at a crowd? That does not make logical sense. Aren't they supposed to experiment with different treatments instead of dissecting monkeys and injecting them with rage? That is not cool, man. Anyway, a group of animal activists breaks into the research center with the goal of rescuing the chimps from being cruelly experimented on. Once inside, they start taking photos of the animals. Just as they're about to open the cages, a dude in a crisp white lab coat sees them and tries to call security, but one of the activists stops him. They tell him to stay put while they release the animals, but Doogie Howser warns them that the chimps are highly contagious. He explains that they are infected with rage, but the group doesn't believe him. And honestly, I don't blame them, because this dude is basically saying, what we're trying to do here isn't what it looks like. We're cutting up monkeys for the greater good of mental health. Bullshit. The group releases one of the chimps, and then all hell breaks loose. Now, like Ebola, the rage virus spreads through infected bodily fluids. Mr. Hauser explains that the infection is in their blood and saliva, and that one bite is enough to infect you. The chimp jumps on one of the activists and bites her. Within 10 seconds, she starts vomiting blood and turns into an infected. Doogie Hauser tells the others they have to kill her, but before they can react, she attacks him and infects him too. So basically, you can catch the virus if you get bitten, scratched, or if infected blood gets into your mouth, like this dude. Bro, if that's the case, how come Jerry in World War Z gets zombie blood in his mouth and survives long enough to find a cure? But Frank gets one measly drop in his eye and turns in 10 seconds. That is so unfair. My man Frank, and I like Frank, man. He did not deserve to go out like that. Not by a drop of blood, for crying out loud. That's it for today's video. Moral of the story: if you see an infected chimp, mind your business. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe and wipe the toilet seat, man, please. You'll thank me later.